Drinking. Saloons in the Wild West were the main hubs for alcohol consumption and casual conversation. They served whiskey, beer, and occasionally wine, often in rough conditions with little quality control. Whiskey was sometimes cut with water or even harmful additives like tobacco juice to stretch supply. Patrons gathered not just to drink but to exchange local news, discuss cattle drives, or strike business deals. The bar counter was usually a long plank of wood, sometimes with a brass rail, and bartenders worked quickly to keep glasses full. Drinking could start early in the day and continue late into the night. Gambling. Gambling was one of the biggest moneymakers for saloons, often running all day and night. Popular games included faro, poker, blackjack, craps, and roulette. Faro was especially widespread because it was fast-paced and easy to learn. Card tables were set up in the main room or in side areas, with professional gamblers, sometimes hired by the saloon, ready to take on newcomers. Cheating was common, using marked cards, stacked decks, or sleight of hand. Dealers often carried pistols to deter disputes, and violent arguments over losses were not rare. High-stakes games could change a player's fortune in a single evening. Gunfights. Saloons were frequent hotspots for violence, often sparked by gambling disputes, unpaid debts, or excessive drinking. Fistfights could break out over a single insult, while more serious altercations escalated into knife fights or gunfights. Because many patrons carried revolvers, tensions could turn deadly in seconds. Some saloons posted signs requiring guns to be checked at the door, but enforcement was inconsistent. Professional gunfighters and local outlaws sometimes used saloons as meeting spots, which increased the risk of trouble. Lawmen might step in to restore order, but by the time they arrived, the damage, often fatal, was usually already done. Entertainment. Saloons frequently doubled as entertainment venues, offering live music, dancing, and variety acts to keep patrons spending money. Pianists or small bands played popular tunes, while singers or can-can dancers performed on small stages. In larger towns, saloons might host traveling theater groups, magic acts, or comedy routines. Performers were often hired to encourage guests to buy more drinks, with song and dance girls mingling between acts to chat with customers. Some establishments offered private booths or back rooms for more discreet entertainment. The constant noise of music, laughter, and clinking glasses was part of the saloon's attraction. Prostitution. Many Wild West saloons operated in close connection with prostitution, either in upstairs rooms or in separate buildings out back. Women known as soiled doves, or ladies of the evening, worked under a madam's supervision, paying a share of their earnings to the saloon owner. Some saloons employed painted ladies, who acted as both entertainers and sex workers, mingling with patrons to entice business. Transactions were often arranged subtly during conversations at the bar. While some women worked voluntarily, many were driven by poverty or coercion. Law enforcement largely ignored the trade, provided it remained discreet and didn't cause public disturbances. Business deals. Saloons often functioned as informal business centers, especially in frontier towns with few official institutions. Cattle ranchers, miners, and traders met at saloon tables to negotiate contracts, arrange cattle drives, or purchase supplies. Some saloon owners acted as unofficial bankers, holding patrons' money for safekeeping or extending credit for drinks and gambling. Gold dust and nuggets were sometimes exchanged directly across the bar, with scales kept on hand for weighing. Because these deals relied heavily on trust, disputes over unpaid debts or broken agreements were common, and many were settled right there, in public, often under tense circumstances. Political meetings. Saloons were key gathering spots for local politics, serving as unofficial town halls where candidates gave speeches and debated opponents. Political operatives used them to spread campaign messages, distribute flyers, and recruit supporters. Elections were often influenced inside these establishments, with free drinks offered to secure votes. In some towns, saloon owners themselves became political power brokers, using their wealth and connections to sway decisions on law enforcement, taxation, or business licensing. Because saloons attracted a broad cross-section of the population, ranchers, miners, merchants, they were ideal for rallying public opinion and forging alliances that shaped local governance. Illegal activities. Many saloons operated at the edge of legality, often engaging in or facilitating illegal activities beyond gambling and prostitution. Some sold bootleg alcohol, especially during local prohibition attempts or dry spells. Others acted as fronts for smuggling goods, fencing stolen property, or hosting underground poker games with high stakes. Corruption was common, with saloon owners bribing local law enforcement to overlook violations or to warn them of impending raids. These arrangements allowed saloons to thrive despite their illicit undertakings, while patrons frequently ignored the risks due to the limited social and recreational options available in frontier towns. Stunts. Many saloons encouraged patrons to stay longer and spend more through drinking contests and stunts. These could include timed whiskey drinking races, dares to drink strong house brews, or wagers on who could consume the most beer without stopping. Some bartenders created signature knockout drinks, potent mixes intended to impress or incapacitate. Stunts weren't limited to drinking. Feats like shooting targets inside the saloon or performing tricks while intoxicated also drew attention. Such events often blurred the line between entertainment and recklessness, with injuries or property damage being common outcomes. Winners sometimes earned free drinks or public bragging rights. The bartender. Bartenders in Wild West saloons were more than drink servers. They were central figures managing multiple roles simultaneously. They poured drinks swiftly, maintained order, mediated disputes, and often acted as informal bankers or credit keepers for regular customers. Bartenders needed to recognize patrons, remember debts, and sometimes spot cheats at the gambling tables. Their presence was critical for preventing theft and violence, and many carried weapons for protection. Skilled bartenders also mixed house special cocktails, balancing flavors to mask poor quality alcohol, thereby enhancing the saloon's reputation and profitability. Music machines. By the late 19th century, some saloons began installing coin-operated music machines, early predecessors to jukeboxes, which played popular songs when a coin was inserted. These devices added a modern novelty and reduced the need for live musicians during slow hours. Other mechanical amusements included pool tables, bagatelle boards, and early slot machines. Patrons could pass the time with these games while drinking, and owners profited from the extra spending. The presence of such machines also helped saloons compete with rival establishments, offering a wider variety of entertainment beyond gambling and live acts, appealing to both locals and travelers. Food and drink. While primarily focused on alcohol, many saloons also served food to attract and retain customers. Typical offerings included simple, hearty fare like beef stew, salted pork, beans, biscuits, and occasionally freshly baked pies. Meals were often cooked in a back kitchen or by an on-site cook. Food helped balance the strong drinks and extended patrons' visits. Some saloons became known for their signature dishes, drawing locals and travelers alike. Food service was usually informal, with meals eaten at shared tables or directly at the bar. Prices were kept low to encourage frequent visits, though quality varied widely depending on the establishment and location. Towels and spittoons. Many early Wild West saloons surprisingly lacked bar stools or chairs at the counter, requiring patrons to stand while drinking and socializing. This standing room only setup encouraged quicker turnover and more active engagement among customers. However, saloons were equipped with plentiful towels and spittoons to maintain hygiene in an era when chewing tobacco was common. Patrons frequently spat tobacco juice into large spittoons placed around the room, which helped keep floors cleaner. Towels were used by bartenders to wipe counters and glasses, and sometimes by customers to clean their hands or faces, reflecting the rough but practical sanitation standards of the time. Saloon layout and design. Wild West saloons were typically designed with a long bar running along one wall, creating an open main room where patrons gathered. The layout often included a raised platform behind the bar for bartenders and space for card tables and chairs scattered throughout. Separate rooms or partitions sometimes housed gambling, private meetings, or entertainment like dance floors. Back rooms or upstairs areas were used for lodging, prostitution, or storage. Large windows and swinging doors were common, allowing light and air inside while enabling quick exits during fights. The design balanced practical needs, like crowd flow and security, with the social functions of the saloon. Credit systems and tab keeping. Many saloon patrons did not pay cash immediately, but ran tabs, an informal credit system managed by bartenders or owners. Regular customers, such as ranchers or miners, often trusted the saloon to keep a running balance of drinks and food consumed. At the end of a week or a drive, they would settle their debts in cash or goods, like cattle or ore. This system relied heavily on personal trust and reputation. However, it also led to disputes when debts went unpaid or customers disappeared. Some saloons used handwritten ledgers or chalkboards to record tabs, while others memorized accounts. From gunslingers to train robbers, the Wild West was shaped not only by its saloons, but by the ruthless outlaws who walked through their swinging doors. These figures left trails of violence, fear, and legend across the frontier. If you think saloons were wild, wait until you meet the men who truly ruled the West. Watch our next video on the most feared outlaws in history.